Hi, my name is Dr. Evelyn. I'm a Jawad teacher and also a tutor on the accredited Jawad belly dance training courses. In this video, I want to go over some of the technique for OMIs or broken hip circles. There's a different video in this series about the shifting hip circle, which is where we push our hips out to the side, circling around ourselves. But the OMI or broken hip circle is more about creating an oscillating circle that takes place underneath yourself, so you never actually push your hips out and away in the process. Start by checking your posture, aligning your legs, all the joints in your legs, pulling up and in, and as you do that, your tailbone will melt down that 30% or so. Knees are soft. For this move, however, especially when you're learning it, you might want to just bend your knees a tiny bit more so that you can actually get the feel for the movement. The movement that you create in your hips has to translate somewhere, and your knees become the levers that make all that range possible. So the softer your knees, the bigger the movement, and that can be really, really useful, especially to begin with. Find your hip bones, your bony bits up here. And this is kind of where the movement happens, but obviously your muscles help you to create it. So imagine that you're on your very soft knee and you then want to pretend that you're doing a hip lift on one side, but you're not allowing your heel to come off the floor. So you're lifting up using your muscles up here, and that hip bone goes up. Now we're going to let that go. Even though we're tucked under 30% or so, we're just going to tuck under even more at the front, and then we're going to let that go. And then we're going to pretend to do another hip lift on the other side. So we're contracting up here, allowing the hip bone to go up. The leg straightens a bit, but the heel doesn't come off. And then we let it go. And then finally, we don't do anything at the back. We just pause. So lifting the hip up on one side, relax. Tucking under even more, let that go, and lift that hip on one side without the heel coming off, and relax. And the back, we don't do anything. This is the basic for your OMI when broken down into fours. So we say 1, let that go, contract in the middle instead, let that go, lift on the side, and then nothing. 1, 2, 3, nothing on 4. 1, 2, 3, nothing on 4. 1, 2, 3, and around. Eventually you can smooth that out so your hips create that oscillating circle. Think of the rings of Saturn going up at the front, down at the back. It's also sometimes referred to as the Latin hip circle, and in Latin dancing there is a lot of this gyration of the hips going on. So you can also think of being in Rio for the Samba Carnival and making that movement going round. Now let's try and bring it the other way around. So find your middle and then contract up on one side, but don't let the heel come off. Tuck under at the front, let it go. Contract on the other side, bring the hip up, and nothing on the fourth one. So it goes contract, let it go, contract in the middle, let it go, contract on the side, and nothing at the back. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And eventually circle around. If you have done any Latin dancing, you might just want to start with the movement, and then you can actually put your hands on here on your core, and you can have a feel as what happens with the muscles, because when we're doing it in a belly dance context, it can be really good to know what muscles you're using in case you need to change anything with the move, and not just allow the movement to happen in your skeleton, but controlling it. Now, if we want to dance with this, keeping your feet just underneath yourself is going to keep it nice and small. If we want to do it big, we create more space between our feet. And we can then also move it around, shifting our weight from one foot to the next. We can even take it around in a little bit of a mini circle. Try going the other way. So contract, take it to the front, contract, and nothing on the back. When my weight's over on this side, my foot over here is free to move out to the side. I can shift my weight over here with the Omi, and I can shift it back. I can even take it around in a bit of a mini circle. But the most important thing is the basic of it. With that technique in mind and just some really basic framing arms, let's try dancing it with some music. So let's start by just getting the posture in. Feet underneath yourself, underneath your hip bones, tuck down, knees nice and soft, but maybe even more soft than normal. And then we're going to say contract, in, contract, nothing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Taking it around. You can have the arms there or actually framing. Let's try going the other way. So contract in the middle, contract on the side, nothing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then as my weight's on one foot, I can bring the other foot out. I'm going to change direction now, and I'm going to make one that's really big. And then I'm going to stop. Then I'm going to take it over to the other side. Stop. Change direction again. Then we're going to take it from one to the next, one foot over to the other, and we can take it a tiny bit around in a circle if you can keep your Omi going. Try going the other way. So all we're doing is shifting our weight from one foot to the next, keeping that Omi going. Good. Now that's some of the basic technique for an Omi and how to take it a tiny bit further as well. So don't worry if this one doesn't come natural straight to start with. Have a play around with it, and thank you very much for watching.